Welcome to another episode with Blend and Ben, Team Blend and Ben. So, for this episode, what we want to do is talk about the three mistakes that blended families make from our perspective. And so, the first one we're going to talk about is putting the kids above the marriage. Now, we've been on social media for a few years, and we've realized that when we post that we put our marriage first, there are people who react to that in a very negative light. So, babe, how do you feel about putting the kids above your marriage?
Well, I didn't marry my children. I married you. So that's how I feel about it. And I stand on it. My commitment requires me to honor God, or my marriage rather requires me to honor my commitment to God. And from that flows my love for you and for my children.
Okay. What are people misunderstanding when you say you put your marriage before your kids? Like you've seen the comments. So what are people misunderstanding and how can you explain it so they can understand?
So my take is in order for me to provide the stability and a healthy place for my kids to thrive, I have to prioritize my marriage. I don't see it any other way. I think your kids are deeply impacted by when the marriage is on shaky grounds, when there's no stability, when there's no love, when there's no peace. Uh, I just think that if I invest in my marriage, that will in consequence create a healthy space for my kids to thrive beautifully. And I don't like this idea of ranking family members. I think it's just the marriage is the foundation of the home. It's the foundation. So if I don't prioritize that, invest in that, then not only do well, not only will we suffer, but I think the kids actually suffer the most.
Yeah, I saw someone make a comment and said that, well, because the child, it was a female, and she's saying that the child that she has is not her current husband's child. And because of that, she has to put her child first. I 100% disagree with that. And I have kids before my wife. There is no way I could have done that because, again, when you get married, I think the foundation of your entire family starts with your wife or your husband. So why would you want to marry someone who you don't trust 100% to do what they're supposed to do for your child?
And that's what I was going to say. I feel like people who feel that way, I don't know if it's because it's almost like I have to put my child, it feels to me like I have to put my child first because they won't, like, you may leave me, but they won't leave me.
I think
You
that
know,
is it.
it's like I don't know how to describe it, but I will say, I think, especially, having friends who are single parents, I think being a single parent and raising your child, especially if you raise your child alone for a period of time, you develop an attachment to your child. And then when the next, if you meet someone and you all form a relationship and you marry them or whatever the case may be, it's hard. It's hard uh, to now completely submit or to this because it's like my child's been here from day one. Like I've raised this it's just been us and you just came along. And it's hard for me to like I don't want to speak on that position and sound judgmental because I've never been in that position. I can only imagine how tough that is. But I do strongly believe that one, like you said, if you marry someone you trust who is completely like there for you, there for your children, wants the best for you, your children, then it'll only serve you extremely well and the children extremely well for you to show them what a healthy marriage is, full of love and a priority.
But then the question is, why marry that person? Because it wasn't hard for me because I trusted you day one with my kids. And
Yeah.
so I think that is a question that I think people need to be asking is how much do you really trust your partner that you're marrying if you have so much reluctance to do what your marriage vows says you have to do. But
Mm.
I think we've spent a long time on this topic. We'll be going a little bit more in depth because I think this is a touchiest topic we've ever done on our platforms where we get like 1 point something million views. Like people love this topic, so or despise it. So
I
we'll
just
touch on it again.
Can I just say one thing? I think at the end of the day, our kids are deeply important to me, and taking care of my marriage is how I take care of them.
Hmm.
Like, look how happy our children are when
Yeah.
they see us doing things with them together, loving each other,
Mhm.
spending time with each other. Like, they're happy to see love
Yeah.
and unity and safety. How could you not want to prioritize building that or having that so that your children can feel that? I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
So I agree, but let's move on to the second mistake I think a lot of blended families make, and it's money. And we've gone through this before. Slightly wasn't that wasn't our craziest issues, but it was an issue. Was money that can lead to resentment. What do you have to say about that?
Just imagine you being with someone and, you sharing finances, and you realize that uh, some money, I was going to say a significant chunk, but you realize you see money, being sent to, or money being, provided for different households or given to different households. That's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. Yeah. I remember, like, us talking about what I would need to pay on my student loans. And you talked about what you need to pay for child support. And I was like, damn, but my student loans, it's from me getting a degree. What you got going on over there? Like, oh goodness.
Wow.
Student loans got me this job. Where your money going?
No,
I mean,
it'll come to fruition in the next few years. Don't worry. I'll get it back.
no, but in all seriousness, I don't think there's any sane person, healthy person who doesn't want their partner to take care of their child. Like that's out of control. Like, I don't even know if that exists, but maybe it does because I feel like there's people who would argue that. I, I think what is important though is when you're in a blended family, you understand. It's important that you have these discussions up front. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that blended families make that causes a lot of frustration, and that's not having conversations early about finances, especially if at some point in your marriage you join or plan to join finances. I think if you understand the expectations, then you can work on your mindset, and then kids are expensive and the costs grow all the time. And I can honestly say I didn't have children when we came into this marriage, so I didn't understand the cost of children. So, it's like,
No, you do.
but now I do, right? So yeah, I think that this is an important one, but I think you need to have communication and be honest about finances and talk about that early on. And then I think in the same way, within the same vein, you have to allow your partner, meaning the bonus person, to ask questions without being defensive because maybe they just want to understand, you know? And they should be able to understand it's y'all's money. If that's how you operate in your marriage, that's how we operate. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I can see how the resentment can go both ways because I have had two different scenarios or situations. One where I'm on a fixed child support ordered by the court, and then the next situation was because we have a very good co-parenting dynamic, it's agreed upon between us how much I pay. With someone who does not have kids in their mind, I don't think any number makes sense to them unless it's super low. And so I know now that we have kids together, and when my wife has kids, now she can understand, oh, it actually costs a lot to take care of a child. And so but before, I think what was happening is just a little bit, as I said, this was not a big topic, but I can see how me saying, okay, I pay X amount per month, and then a random month comes and I pay a little bit over. It's like, why are you paying a little bit over? And it's like, well, children go into sports, children do this, children do that. So I think she's gotten that understanding now. But if you're marrying someone who does not have kids, when you have an understanding of how much you pay monthly, and because you want to be a good parent and something else comes up, you just send the money. The bonus parent can look at you like, what are you doing? And that's normally when you join finances. Like my wife and I, we joined finances very early on. So I can see how the resentment start going both ways because then I'm looking at her like, well, at least I'm not on child support and we have a good cooperating dynamic. So I just want to take care of my child no matter what. I'll spend whatever money it's my child, which is not the right way to look about it, anyways. But because you're partners. But again, I can see how the bio parent or the bonus parent can be resenting their partner, and the bio parent can be resenting the bonus parent. Sorry, hope that made sense.
I want to be honest with y'all. I think it's honestly the defensiveness around the conversation.
True. I think that was a good one. However, let's jump to the third mistake blended families make, which we will discuss no boundaries with the exes. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know in any situation where you'd want to be with someone who doesn't set boundaries, especially with their exes. But I think this actually would be good for you to weigh in on because, as the person who brings the blend to the relationship, this is something I'm sure you and your co-parents have to talk about. So, what's your perspective?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to not have that type of drama. My exes are married, and I think that helps a lot. So I think everyone has moved on, and I think everyone is happy in their situation that they're in. And so I've never had that situation. And so, I can see how that can cause mess. Um, if my ex texts me, say she texts me at 11:30 p.m., I think everyone will assume it has 100%. It, it has to do with my son. Like, I would hope you wouldn't assume this is text that shouldn't be happening. And I definitely wouldn't assume that. So the only way after time, and my wife and I have been together for almost 9 years, she can develop security and know that she's good, is through consistent, appropriate behaviors.
Hmm.
And so I think that's the only way you can run a blended family. I can't imagine someone doing something else different with their exes, but I know it happened.
It
So
happens all the time.
that's what's crazy.
Yeah. But I think it usually happens when there's like resentment, hostility, and things of that nature. Um, yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us till the end. Please, guys, follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, Blend and Ben. Follow us here also. Whatever, if you're following us on YouTube, if you're following us on a podcast platform, please just hit the follow button, leave us a comment, let me know what you thought about our three mistakes, and you can add some in your comments too so we can touch on that at a later time. Thank you.